I'm here to talk about Red Dead Redemption 2. This game is the most spiritual game that you'll ever play, right? Hopefully I'll shuck oil from what I'm going to say here. But if you're a teacher of law of ethics or oral communications or history in that manner, I feel like it's very necessary to showcase this game to your students, or better yet, provide them homework to play this game full on through. Why? The lessons it teaches is better than any movie could ever teach you because it's interactive. And I'm going to spend a lot of yarn about this game, but it deserves its praise. And let's start off with this. One lesson it taught me, and why I think it's so spiritual, is because, this shows this basic theory of what you put out there will come back to you. The game is called Red Dead Redemption. Now, what does redemption means? To redeem your low quality traits, to become better, to progress as a person morally. And throughout the game you are doing bad things. It's how it's written. You start off as a bad man. You do bad things in order to provide for your family, so desperate people that take from desperate people. So as Arthur Morgan, right, let's say, well, let me explain this morality bar here, because this is relatively new. I've never played this in any game before. But let's say you're dishonorable, right? Not only does the story change, but the energy and the aura around you changes. The music becomes so eerie and dark, like it's the devil's there. The weather changes to something more depressing. The animals step away from you. They run away from you. People respond to you in a negative way. Now, on the other foot, if you're positive or if you're honorable, it's different. It's more positive. Better weather, animals are attracted to you, people are more attracted to you, the weather's more upbeat. It's crazy how they display energy, right? So far as story goes, you start off as a bad man, right? You're a loan shark. And this game displays some good foreshadowing, because in one of the earlier missions you're beating this guy up, defending your boys, and he gave him brain damage. And one of the guys from the town comes up to you like, please leave him alone. He's an empathetic person. He come over, he tries to stop it. He's like, please, just let him be. He had enough. Later on throughout the game, Arthur, the main protagonist, goes over to his home, his family home, and he's guarding. He needs to take money from him because he owes him money. And Arthur threatened him. He beat him to a pulp. The man is coughing. He's spitting blood in his face. And just, we're not your idea of charity, and he's threatening the wife and the son. And later throughout the game, the man ends up dying. So Arthur came back, wants to get what's his. The family's forced to move because the father died and they have no money. And you can really tell how sinister your character is, because he says to the boy, the boy didn't like him because he knew who he was. He said, I forgot what he said, but Arthur said to him, after your mother's finished mourning your father, I'll keep her in black on your behalf. Meaning, like, I'll make sure that she'll go to your funeral as well, wearing black, mourning for you as well. Threatening the family after they lost their father. And Arthur beat up a man that died of tuberculosis. And the crazy part about the game is, eventually it comes back to Arthur. He has tuberculosis now. Now he's dying. Now, within this morality bar, you have an option to either see a buck or a wolf whenever you're hallucinating after you're diagnosed with tuberculosis. So from that point on forward, you start to realize how precious life is, and how the guilt he feels from doing such bad things to people. And after he lost his people because of bad people, he's no different from them. So he wants to become better. He talked to a nun, and and yet there's many moments where he expressed a lot of vulnerability, that he's afraid that, he's not going to live a good life for eternity after that, once he's gone. And the nun says, like, look, even though you've done bad, you can still redeem and become a better person. It's all about, and that's where redemption is. You got to forgive yourself to become better. If you don't forgive yourself, don't expect yourself to do better. And they're trying to teach that lesson. Now, this game provides Easter eggs in a spiritual way to express what that bad energy does. So now there's Easter egg called the Strange Man. Now he has and it came from the first Red Dead Redemption. He played the same character. He's supposed to symbolize the devil, and he knows you. He breaks the fourth wall of the game, and he's letting you know, I watch every single move that you do, and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna show you some foreshadowing hints on what your demise will be. And throughout the game, let's say you run to this cabin out in the swamp, and there's a painting, there's an outline of a man. And if you see on the writing on the walls, it's telling you in riddles on the actions Arthur took, you know, in a way of mocking him. And, you know, you leave and you come back many times to his cabin, it'll be a full painting of the strange man. And it's more darker in there, it's more demonic, and you look in the mirror, he's there. But you look behind you in IRL within the game, he's not there. So it's letting you know, I'm the devil, I'm here, I'm watching everything that you do. And in the first Red Dead Redemption, he told John the same thing. And he told you what his fate will be, symbolically. You find out later. But, you know, it's crazy how this game explains that spirituality in many ways, right? Whether it's about the devil or the music, the energy, the people, they explain energy in the best way you can possibly fit. And it teaches that lesson. It teaches about self-forgiveness and becoming better people, you know, law of ethics. So later throughout the game, right, let's say you're going towards the end, you know, you feel the guilt of Arthur. He's like, man, you know, I've done so many bad things, and I see no glory in it. You know, I don't know if I believe in an afterlife, but I'm afraid of what's to come for me. And the nun reassured him, like, look, I can see you're a good man. You're trying to be better. Just continue doing what you're doing, and you will be given grace. And bet my word on that. And it's an amazing message, you know. Again, most spiritual game I've ever played. So the game puts you through a dilemma whether you go for the money or you go protect your brother, John Marston, and his family to survive. Now, that's one of the biggest decisions you make in the game. Of course, I went to save my brother. I got the fate that eventually, early in the game, you kind of foreshadow how you want to die, and you lived exactly how you wanted to. Versus if you took the dishonorable route to go for the money, the selfish way, for some reason, because you're dying of tuberculosis anyway, you die in a very foul way, you know. And the crazy thing about this game is it builds some type of social awareness, because I let my cousin play this game. I'm no longer claiming him as my cousin. I'm done. He's cut off. But this game was a foreshadowing on how he was as a person, because he was trying to do good just for the sake of gain, to be the nice guy, not the genuine guy, the nice guy, meaning he only doing nice to gain out of it, you know. And the decisions where it mattered the most, he went for the money. Come to find out, and I looked at him very differently after that. I'm like, dude, like you're kind of selfish. I bleed red, you bleed green, and that's obvious. And you know, we're no longer close anymore, because he became that person, you know, very selfish about himself, blinded his own vanity. And the game teaches you, hey, look, vanity is the devil's favorite sin. If you choose your pride and selfish desires, you will be alone, and you will have an awful fate, you know. So knowing that, my judgment was spot on because of this game. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you know, and there's one moment in the game. So this guy named Arthur, not the main protagonist, but he died, and he also owed him money. And you go looking for this guy, then eventually you run into his wife at their house, and they're packing things to move out. And Arthur approached her, addressed who he was, and she knew who he was. He was a loan shark, because he stated that he owed him money, but Arthur's gone. So the mother confronted him, and she had her little baby child with her, and she says, like, you know, you son of a bitch, like, what else do you want from us? Do you want the food out of our bellies? Do you want me to lay down for you? You want my son's shoes? Arthur's, you know, saying, no, I don't want that. And this is around the time where he was dying, you know, so he was trying to become better. And, you know, now I have fellas coming to take the house. Like, we have nothing left for you. What do you want from us? So you have an option to absolve the debt, or absolve the debt and give her money. And, you know, of course I gave her the money because I felt awful. The game makes you feel awful from your decisions. So giving her the money, she says, oh, you're a good man. So she reassures you, and she sees the guilt on your face. And she said this one line that really hit me to the core. She said, maybe you and your friend could do something differently, like not threaten the man. Then Arthur says, I'm sorry, ma'am, I really am. In that moment, you know, you start to realize as a gamer, like, wow, our type of fun was to inflict pain on people or be confrontational or to threaten for gain. And she makes you think otherwise, like he could have done something differently to save his life, because he worked himself to the grave to, you know, to pay back your debts. And, you know, she lost her husband, he's losing the house, and she has a little boy, you know, and they're poor. So eventually, the loan shark Arthur Morgan goes to the guy that loaned them the money, kicked him out of the camp because he realized he was taking from desperate people, and desperate people take from desperate people, and that's just the sad reality of it all. Arthur had enough of it, you know. He wants to do better. He wants to become a better man, and it's crazy. And you learn these lessons within this game, and you try to do better for the sake of the character that you love, because you see him trying, you see him feel this guilt and this shame, and you want him to do better. You know, it makes you feel that way throughout the game. As you're playing, you're dying of tuberculosis. You hear Arthur cough. You know, obviously he's dying, and you're playing as a dying player. It kills you on the inside. Sorry, I'm sweating. I'm talking in a hot car, but yeah. And that's the lesson the game teaches you on a spiritual level. The game also teaches you charisma, how to talk to people. You know, the game gives you an option to talk to other characters, NPCs, you know, whether you greet them or antagonize them, you know. And I just go around town just talking, just exchanging positive energy, and you realize it's better to charm and diffuse bad situations because there's more to gain from it. You gain respect, and again, you're exchanging positive energy. It teaches me to be more quick-witted and to talk to people and just greet people and just make their day. I make myself feel confident. I make them feel more confident. There's only gain from that, you know, and it teaches me that type of charisma. And, you know, and I learned a lot within the history from the West down South and how bad it was. The game is amazing. If you haven't played it before, or, you know, if you played just the beginning and it turned you off because it was really slow, stop being a tablet baby. You know, enjoy the game. Walk through it. Enjoy the environment Rockstar made for us, because it's beautiful. That's a game you don't want to rush. You want to take in everything, because the immersion is beyond any game that I've ever played. If you have a beautiful OLED TV screen, take advantage of it, because the game, again, is extremely immersive. So, but again, it teaches a lot of morality lessons, you know. And safe to say, I'm wise beyond my years, and I feel more of I'm going down the righteous path because of it, because of this game. You know, this game it does what a church will ever do for you, you know, and that's to uplift your spirits, you know, make you change for the better, not just for yourself, but for people around you. And the game teaches that lesson very well. Best storytelling ever in a video game, actually in media in general. And honestly, if they make a movie or a series about it, I'm all for it. Again, if you're a teacher of ethics class or communications or history, I advise you to showcase this game, because I'm telling you, it's amazing. 10 out of 10, perfect. And don't let other people discourage you from playing because they have attention span of a squirrel. Don't let them discourage you. Yeah, the game is slow, but that's the point. You know, you don't have to sit there and run like chickens with their heads cut off in every game. Like, it's not like that. It's a game where you got to immerse yourself completely to understand the message it's trying to deliver to you. Patience is a virtue. That's another lesson that they teach you. Honestly, it's one of the cheat codes. This game is about wisdom. And if you want to mature and grow as a person, then play this game. It will do that for you. And take it seriously. A lot of people just want to sit there and shoot a bunch of horses and get like, you missed the plot. Don't play it that way. Just don't. Just be your genuine self. Play as Arthur like you want to, like that's you and how you want to carry your life, and see what you come up with. Again, I judged my cousin. I looked at him very differently from the decisions that he made, and he became that person that he was in the game. Extremely selfish, blinded in his own vanity. Dude, I'm sweating like crazy. That's how dedicated I am to these videos. It's soundproof in here, so I don't like it echo. I'd rather, you know, but either way, look at that. Either way, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. I'm about to die in here.